So being a fully automated trading program, many users, when they first hear a CoolTrade, they have a number of concerns. What if the stock? What if the auto trader buys too many shares of stock? What if I have connection problems? What if it just starts buying and selling, and if I'm not there, I'm not in very good shape there. So you know, I don't blame people for having these type of concerns. They're the same type of concerns I had when I first heard of CoolTrade. But you can be rest assured that once you see all the different options within this system and all the built-in money management aspects to it, that you shouldn't have these concerns. So, for example, I'm going to show you the CoolTrade Strategy Wizard and just a few aspects of the auto trader itself, just for a few minutes here, and I'll show you just how in depth the auto trader is and how solid it is in developing a money management system as part of your trading strategy. So right now we're looking at one of my personal strategies, and you'll see here that you can trade in multiple different increments. You can either trade as a number of shares alone up here. 200 or 1,000 is just what this is set at, but so this strategy right here, if it's a 200 and 1,000, that means every time it would buy a stock initially, it would just purchase 200 shares of that stock, and when it says 1,000 max shares to be purchased per symbol, if your strategy adds to your positions based on rules as well, but based on price either moving up or down, and whatever other rules you have in your strategy, it will buy up to 5 additional times. So say the stock drops 10% and your rules are in effect, it'll purchase again. It drops another 10, same thing. And you could either choose to use that or not. You can also use it to invest a predetermined amount per symbol. So this is actually more just a range. It purchases in 100 share lots. So this would probably be something like 3,000 to 4,000. Or as a percentage of your buying power. And in this case, I'm using the percentage of your buying power. This is a day trading strategy I'm using that is purchasing just the top moving stocks of the day. So I'm only purchasing the top 6 stocks each day, and or the top 6 at any given time, that is. So it only usually does between 4 and 7 or 8 trades at a time, and I'm in and out of the positions. So I found 25% of my bankroll is an appropriate number to maximize the upside of these positions. So you can also set right there the maximum amount of symbols you can purchase that CoolTrade will hold for you at any given time. So I have it set at 4. And also right here, the times of the day that you will trade. So this strategy only opens positions between 7 and 12:30. It will only add between 6:45 and 12:30. 6:45 you can just disregard because I haven't opened anything. But anytime after that, 7:01. But I'm not adding in this strategy anyway. But these are just here by default. And then when I'll start closing positions. So at 7:15 to right up to the end of the market, and I have that set at 12:58. The market here closes at 1 o'clock. Just in case there's any delays in data for whatever reason, you set it to close out a little early. But actually in this strategy, since it's a day trading strategy, it closes all positions at the end of the day. So there's a little more advanced functionality right here. Start closing all positions at this time. So at 12:30, I'm going to be out of everything. Close open positions that have reached their goal. 12:45, disregard it. It's there, but then close positions that have made this amount, disregard it too. I could actually have those unchecked. Not a big deal. way in which CoolTrade helps make your auto trader more efficient, it uses a watch list. And the watch list, what that does, it narrows the market down to a smaller number of stocks in the entire markets. And with CoolTrade, you see up here it trades the Amex, Nasdaq, and NYSE, and those are all U.S. exchanges. We also automate a number of international exchanges we'll see right here, but I'm just going to be talking about the U.S. markets for now. So, since there are over 8,000 stocks in the U.S. markets, your watch list will narrow CoolTrade down to 50 stocks for short trades or long trades. And with CoolTrade, you can run a long strategy and a short strategy simultaneously. So another aspect of risk management, for some reason, this is a short strategy. If you're really high on consumer goods stocks, for example, you think they're gonna go, they're poised to make a solid positive run. Well, you can eliminate yourself from going short in that specific sector. Maybe same thing with conglomerates. Or you can just trade several of these sectors, eliminating everything else. Perhaps you only want to trade, very large cap stocks. You can just trade the Nasdaq 100 or the S&P 100, and you can eliminate a bunch of the smaller stocks. Or do the same thing, just getting rid of the Amex stocks, because those tend to be smaller. So another thing you can do too, you want stocks that are only very high liquidity. You can trade stocks that just the volume is greater than a million, greater than a few million, so these stocks are moving. So this strategy, it doesn't have a watch list, because the only thing it's actually looking at for the watch list is this top mover number. So between 0 and less than 6%, or between 0 and less than 6. So any stock that's in the top 6 at that given time, as far as price movement for that day, it's looking at. And then these other rules have to be in effect. So I'm only going to go short when the Dow is down for the day, the Nasdaq's down for the day, and the S&P is down for the day. I'm not trading penny stocks with this strategy. I tend to find the volume is too low, and it makes it difficult to exit those positions at the price, by placing a market order through CoolTrade. It's tough to get out of those positions at the price that you'd like. So, and you can even change that. You can change that to maybe $5. It's just as simple as clicking add rule, and then you delete the prior rule. So I'm just going to go back and change that, because I've been running the strategy successfully for a while. But it's real easy to, make these little changes here. Then adding to your positions, same thing. A lot of these rules are just the same as the open position rules. And you may or may not want to use this feature. It really just depends on your strategy and how you, and how it's designed to capitalize on the market movement. So maybe this one, for example, in this is a day trading strategy. Maybe if just the movement of the Dow, since you opened that position initially, maybe the Dow went down significantly, and since prices just tend to go up and down after a large pullback, or after a large, say it's a big up day, there tends to be a significant pullback at certain times throughout the day. But if it's and a lot of the times, the market will tend to reverse itself and continue going in its initial direction. Maybe you have an indicator like that is an add to position rule. Really just up to you though. So you can also exit positions based on indicators. And I'm just going to run through the indicators real quick. I'm not going to explain them, but you can just keep an eye on the left-hand side of your screen. It's going pretty pretty slow. So there's some technical indicators right there, intraday indicators, so intraday price movement, combinations of price, volume, all sorts of, there's all sorts of indicators in this thing. Just depends on your level of sophistication of the market if you'd be using these, but they're really not necessary. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that's pretty easy for the average guy to understand here. So a lot of these strategies I like, they actually they look at different combinations of moving averages, comparing maybe a 3-day moving average to a 5-day moving average, a 5-day to a 10-day, and those types of indicators will basically will be used to show a trend that a stock's been trending upwards or trending downwards over a certain time frame. And a lot of people use a trend following strategy, and if the name of the game is just to buy at one price and sell at a higher price, locking in stocks that are trending one direction is very solid thing to do. Another indicator I like a lot too, as far as buying stocks that are poised to go move one direction versus another. Right here, total number of bullish indicators, and it's compared to the total number of bearish indicators. So for this short strategy, you'd wanna buy stocks that the bearish indicators, the total outweighs the bullish. The number is up to you. I had another strategy that had 12 more bearish indicators and bullish indicators is one of the rules, and at one point it was hitting upwards of 97% profitable trades. So these bullish and bearish indicators, they look at these indicators, and all these indicators, it'll compare numbers, and it'll either say the stock's, based on this indicator, the stock looks bullish or bearish or neutral. And anytime you have the bearish far outweighing the bullish, it's fairly likely the price will move that direction. Doesn't always happen this way because the broader market as a whole will factor in. You can't always predict which direction the big indexes are going to go, and the stocks often run with those indexes. So and here we go, the profit requirements. This is one of the best features of CoolTrade right here, because CoolTrade, unlike a traditional broker where you'll place a limit order, we'll say, a stock will be at $42, for example, and you'll say, okay, I'll buy the stock if the price drops to $40, and then I'll sell it if it goes up to 44. CoolTrade just looks at the entire market or whatever subsectors you want based on that watch list, as I showed you guys. Buys stocks, and then it trades based on these numbers here. So in this strategy, it's going to look to hit a 1.8% profit. However, it's going to keep attempting to take more money off the table, and it won't sell until this 1% pullback right here kicks in. However, it has a 1.4% profit protection. So anytime a stock gets up to 1.4% and it starts climbing higher and then reverses, so it gets to 1.4, goes to 1.5, then goes back to 1.4. Well, the second it goes under 1.4, hits 1.35, closes up position at a profit. But if it keeps climbing, it goes to 1.6, it's not going to close till it goes to 1.4. It's going to attempt to get to 1.8. Once it gets to 1.8, it can keep climbing. However, it's not going to close till either there's been a 1% drop from its high point, or it hits 1.4%. So, based on the fact that these stocks are going to be all different prices, there's a minimum here 5 cents. There has to be a 5 cent movement for that pullback, or a 10 cent movement for the actual profit goal. So if it's buying very inexpensive stocks, you're going to want to adjust those numbers as well. Stop loss. This doesn't use a traditional stop loss. This strategy only uses a trailing stop loss. But I could set this to stop any position that drops, just the slightest bit, as little as 0.1 if I want. But doing something like that ends up being pretty risky because you'll be stopped out on a lot of trades that just move the slightest bit against you, and then go on a big run when you would have made money if you were a little looser with that stop. So what I like to use instead is a trailing stop, and the trailing stop will close out a position at the high, from the high point it reached. If it drops this amount from its high, it's then going to close out. So after I enter the position, it goes up 0.5%. Then it drops that 1%. I only lose half a percentage point instead of if I used 1% is my stop loss. And that's another great feature. So basically, there's a ton of flexibility in this system. You have a lot of control. It really depends on your strategy, because your strategies can be, they can range from the really simple to really complex. When you look at some of the different strategies in here, you'll see all sorts of rules. There's strategies that have hundreds of rules as part of them. Some as few as just 5 or 6 rules. You can control all sorts of stuff, from the volume, the price, hundreds of different indicators, price or volume from one time of the day to the next, or a different time. So there's timed indicators as well. So say you want to compare the volume from 1 hour into trading compared to 4 hours in, and I don't know. But there's just a ton of different things you can do here, and it's really up to the user to determine what he wants to do with this thing. Oh yeah, another thing here. I'm sorry. What the exit rules? All of these conditions must be true, or a position can be closed if any of these conditions are true. So you could have a bunch of conditions in here that will call the exit, but CoolTrade won't close unless all, maybe 3 or 4 different rules determine it should exit, or just any one of them. So that's another way that the system protects the user even more. And yeah. So another cool thing you can do as far as money management, you can set CoolTrade to reserve a certain amount of funds. So one reason people lose money in the market, they're all in. They have all their capital tied up in specific positions that go against them, and they don't have the ability to add to positions at lower price points. So with CoolTrade, you can set a lot of money aside. You can build that into your strategy and your preferences. Say you are trading multiple shares. Right here you can click reserve enough funds to purchase max shares set in my strategy. So say you trade 10 different stocks. Your rules allow you to purchase each stock up to 5 times. Well, CoolTrade's automatically going to reserve the capital to purchase the maximum amount of times. You do this, it's hard to lose money. So, you still can if your rules are flawed, and they can be flawed in a number of ways, but if you use common sense, it's tough to lose money. So, this being a day trading strategy, I only trade one lot of each share, or each stock. Don't need to click that. And you can also use margin with CoolTrade. So this account is a $100,000 account, or started off as a $100,000 account. Day trading, you can use 4 to 1 leverage. So these are the funds available. And what CoolTrade does, it doesn't quite put it at 4.1. It's actually 3.85 to 1. And the reason is when positions go against you. Same thing with 2 to 1. That's for any strategy, but it's actually 1.85. And if a bunch of your positions go against you, you don't want your broker automatically closing you out at the end of the day. So, and then also, there's day trading rules for stocks that are less, their accounts that are less than 25,000, and CoolTrade will automatically enforce the day trading rules, so you don't get flagged as a day trader and your account frozen by your broker. So it knows how many trades you've made, how many day trades you've made at any time, and it will, if you want, and you don't have to click these, maybe you'll get away with it. Maybe intentionally you'll want to day trade when you shouldn't because the market's moving like crazy and you can get away with making a lot more one day. Well, you can unclick those. You'll get flagged eventually and you'll have to move your money to a different broker. But you have the option to always enforce them or, selectively unclick that. So, hope you guys enjoyed and found that informative. And if you guys have any questions at all, please visit me at autostocktrading.com. There'll be a lot of videos just like this there, and I'll explain all sorts of different things with CoolTrade, strategies, new indicators, how other users are using this thing, different ways to do different things that aren't readily apparent to most people. But when you play with the auto trader for a while, you will learn some little tricks with it that are pretty cool. So check back soon, and I hope you guys enjoyed.